Wow, this filter is truly deadly. And thing is, as an older woman, I'm always so worried about how I appear. So the great thing about these filters is you can do a video anytime. Like no matter how you look, just because you have something to say. And because women, my lipstick's a little bit smeared, because women are always judged on our looks, right? And older women are always judged, like whether we look like we're trying too hard or not trying enough or whatever, blah, 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 blah. But I just feel like talking, and I dig this filter. So, one of the things wanted to talk about is like when men and women try to connect as partners. And I'm 33 years married. So I think I am kind of an expert on it. And I have raised two sons and a daughter, and my children are all grown. And I was a stay-at-home mother. I was an excellent stay-at-home mother. It was a calling for me. Like I just wanted to do it karmically. I wanted to do it. I was very hands-on, very loving, and I supported all my children in being themselves. I definitely wasn't a boy mom. Like I supported my sons to be themselves, to be creative, and they're both artists, and to share and be kind. Like that was my main thing: share and be kind. And then my daughter, I certainly didn't. Well, she didn't do like more chores than the boys or anything. She's very, very independent, and she insists on respect, and she has a career getting a master's degree. She's a teacher and she's getting a master's at Penn. So she's very go-getter, and she's much more ahead of where I was at her age in terms of demanding respect. And I think growing up with brothers, she wasn't like, um, she knew about boys. She could generally anyway. She knew about boys, and but anyway, she's in a loving relationship, and so is my older son. He's in a loving relationship with his partner. Just partners, great partners, and I can see that they have a soul connection. I will say that, and potentially, my daughter as well with her boyfriend. So they're able to make like kind of equal partner soul connections. And my theory is that if how somebody connects with a partner, a sexual partner, has to do with how they connected to their mother. And this goes back to patriarchal problems. Patriarchy does not support mothering. Patriarchy does not support the mother's authority. It says, the father's the head of the household, the children are named after the father, even though the woman bears the children and does all the work, creates the life in her body, risks her life, nurses them. Like I was pregnant and nursing 7 years straight. I had all natural childbirth, and I nursed all my children for 2 years each. I was very close to each child. It was big. It was big for me. It was big for them. We bonded. We loved each other. My kids know, like, I have their back. Like, I am a mama bear. And they're not spoiled. Like, they're good people. They're loving people. They're contributing members of society. They're kind because I showed them kindness. And I showed them love. And I showed them that they could be themselves. That they could be themselves. But so often, the mother is not supported in patriarchy. There could be violence in the home. The father could be violent towards her, violent towards the children. He could withhold money. He could be abusive in so many ways. And the woman doesn't have authority. And also, I think what happens is like the older generation, like the generation before me, and before that, I think a lot of women were mothers and they didn't want to be mothers. There was no birth control, and they were forced to have children, multiple children. So if you think about it, how, like, it's so much work to have children. Like if you have 7 kids, 10 kids, like of course that is overwhelming. And of course, for a mother to do all that work, it's overwhelming. Are there going to be problems somewhere with a woman that is overwhelmed, maybe doesn't have enough resources for all those kids, doesn't have enough money, doesn't have money for food? There's some scarcity of resources because and just tired of cooking every day for like 10 people. Like, who wouldn't be tired of that? So I think that there is this undercurrent of rage sometimes that mothers had, which I guess is understandable. And so I think that, like, say, for my husband and I, if I talk about us connecting, what I am looking for in terms of a soul connection, a divine union, I've realized this, and I just realized it even stronger today. While he's a good man, good husband, good father, good worker, ultimately he can't have a divine union with a woman because he resents his mother. And he resents the ways that she controlled him. He's one of 7. She resents the way that she controlled him, made them go to church. You controlled them, was kind of a disciplinarian, came down on them to, like, ship shape, blah, 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 and was angry. But because she was very powerful, she was very assertive, had been a man in most past lives, so came in with a lot of kind of assertive energy for controlling her children, and he resents it. But at the same time, he could never say, raised Catholic, there's a lot of denial of reality, denial of emotions. And so everything got buried, like all his rage at his mother for, telling him what to do, how to dress, could do this, couldn't do that. So his idea, like when he's grown, is he's going to do his own thing. And it's like passive aggressive. Like he will say, oh no, that's not what he's doing. But why can't he then, listen to me? Why can't we be on the same page emotionally or spiritually or even intellectually now? Because it's like a primal wound of his that he must assert his independence from his mother, who he thinks hurt him and took from him his independence. And he would never admit this. Like, everything is about it being buried. So many things, so many issues that men have are with their mothers because their mothers maybe didn't want to take care of like 7 kids. Well, it's a daunting task. So they maybe came down hard, and the children like resent the mother. So they resent the feminine, and the last thing they want to do is bond with the feminine. The last thing they want to do is hear from the feminine. They don't want to hear a word about of the feminine, and what they want to do is control and squash the feminine, and then go about their job, their career. My husband's in like a cover band. He loves to hang with the guys, drink with the guys, chores, work, like a lot of things. A lot of things will come before me because it's part of it's how his personality was formed, is actually to disengage and reject the feminine, his own feminine feelings, which would uncover his rage and his pain and his feelings of how he got hurt. So patriarchy robs children of the attachment to their mothers. Like, women should be viewed as the authority and be authorities with love and support and resources, so we're all healthy and happy and we're not carrying these wounds around. Matriarchy now, because we must connect to our mothers in a loving way, and mothers must connect to their children in a nurturing way, full of resources and love and support.